about how to explain the Wim Hof Method, or Wim Hof Method, which is the Tummo breathing. And so he read a lot on yoga, and he learned this Tummo technique. And then it is actually it's accelerated by using the cold weather. So it's done, the training's done traditionally in the mountains in the Himalayas in Tibet. And I was just watching this video on Google talking about it. These Tibetan yoginis, or female Buddhist nuns, but they all train in Tummo. So there's like thousands of them that can do the Tummo breathing. And so this is the one paranormal training that's gone viral on the internet. So I just saw a video by the Tribe guys. They post like snarky comedy stunts, and so they jumped into tubs of ice cold water, so the water was under 50 degrees, which really isn't that cold for Tummo training. But there's a couple people commented they didn't do any Tummo breathing first. So if you read up the science on the Wim Hof, the studies he's submitted himself to, it's a scientist realized that the deep breathing, it doubles your adrenaline levels. And so it's the equivalent of doing a bungee jump. And you achieve this by actually trying to feel your kidneys when it's called reverse breathing. So below the navel, you breathe in, and then as you do that 30 times, and people will often say, well, then you get a tingling feeling, and so you're just hyperventilating. But actually, the whole point is to double your adrenaline levels by physically stimulating the adrenal medulla. But the problem is that adrenaline on its own can't bypass the blood-brain barrier, and so it has to actually be activated by the epinephrine, which is it's activated by the vagus nerve. And so this is why after the adrenaline's built up in the blood, then the key step is then to hold the breath after exhale. And by holding the breath after exhale, then you activate the vagus nerve. And so that will then cause the adrenaline to get activated, so that the brain will start using that double level of adrenaline, and then you'll start creating very strong internal heat. And then another thing they did is they discovered that when you are doing the deep breathing, that you do increase the carbon dioxide in the blood, and so it increases the pH number in the blood and makes it more basic. And this means that the diver's reflex is not activated, it's not triggered, because the reflex to breathe deep underwater is triggered by the pH level of the blood. So when you do these deep breathings, everybody's saying, well, Wim Hof doesn't completely exhale when he does the deep breathings. So he is building up his CO2, but he says, no, I'm actually increasing the oxygen levels in the body. And so, but he says science just can't detect the oxygen levels. Well, it turns out he's correct, because there's something called the Bohr effect, which means that the CO2 in the blood increases when it forces the oxygen out of the blood deeper into the cells, so that the oxygen will then directly power the mitochondria. And so then you get a proton. The mitochondria is powered by the oxygen for the proton gradients. So then your mitochondria can directly be powered by burning the fat and using the oxygen to just cure cells. So it's a combination of just fat burning from the adrenaline increase, but also just directly powering the mitochondria, so that you're actually creating ATP, as caloric energy, as heat from the mitochondria, and not glucose. So instead of like intermittent fasting, which normally that would also cause ketosis, for your body to switch to burning fat, which is way more efficient in terms of creating ATP energy through your metabolism. You can kickstart it immediately. And this is also taught in the Shaolin training, Kriya yoga, or no, I saw another yoga technique where they taught this same type of, it was in Sri Dhyan Yogi, that's it. So they're doing these quick and deep, fast breathing. Taoist yoga, it's called quick fire breathing. So it's about holding breathing has the power to activate the Yuan Qi that then can force out the Qi properties of the blood, and then turn it back into Yuan Qi, which is through the cerebrospinal fluid, so that when you hold the breath or exhale, activation, and then an internal listening, so the source of the om. So on a deep level, the heart actually lets out om sound that's like the subharmonic from the emptiness of the universe. And that's after you get the strong Kundalini activation, so that the Tummo and the Kundalini go together. So that's all I'm going to share, and hopefully more people can try out the Wim Hof method.